Hello and welcome to Firstpost. Throughout the week, you're inundated with news, the heavy-duty kinds. So, since it's the weekend, we thought we'd change tack and bring you something different. Welcome to Beyond Bizarre. The odd, the offbeat, the outlandish stories that didn't make it to the headlines. For our first story, let's talk about fatherhood. Fatherhood is tough, but do you know what's more tough? Fathering 500 children and then being taken to court over it. Here's our report.
Too much of anything is good for nothing. This is a popular phrase. You must have heard of it. It applies to a number of things. Junk food, alcohol, even sleep. Do you know what else it applies to? Sperm donation. Something that's seen as a boon for many can also become a societal problem. How is that? Because we're talking about serial sperm donors. Yes, it's a real thing. Take this news for example. This week, a Dutch man has been hauled to court and he has been forbidden from donating any more sperm because he has fathered about 550 children. Yes, 550. And these donor children are not all Dutch. The sperm donor has gone international. Pitbull would be proud. This Dutchman was under fire after donating about 100 children, so he found a way out. He began donating his sperm to clinics abroad. And this has become a real problem. So he's under fire again. And now he can't donate any more sperm. He has received a court order. If he does continue to donate, he could be fined $110,000 per infraction. He's also been asked to contact clinics and get his sperm destroyed. Sperm destruction. This sounds serious, right? But what's the fuss about? Because fathering so many children violates the right to a private life. The donor children and their parents say so. They're afraid of accidental incest. Yes, this sounds a little funny, but it's a valid problem. Think about it. The Netherlands is a small country. It's home to about 17 million people, and sperm donor children rarely know about their half-siblings, especially when there are hundreds of them. So the more half-siblings there are, the greater the odds of them meeting accidentally and producing children of their own. This is incestuous and carries risks, mainly of hereditary defects in children of their own. And this problem is only becoming bigger and wider. The first child of in vitro fertilization was born in 1978. Since then, sperm donation has become a booming global business, which is okay. But the problem is, the industry is vastly unregulated. The laws are patchy, and they can't fully regulate who can donate, where and how often. And countries have their own limit on how many children sperm donors can produce. Like in Germany, the number is 15. In the UK, it's 10. In the Netherlands, it's 25. But sperm donors often surpass these rules, and the result? 550 children from one donor. So it's not just sperm donation that's out of control, it's also what comes after. And all this is thanks to online dating. There have been reported cases of half-siblings meeting on dates after matching on apps like Tinder. Imagine finally meeting someone who doesn't have a single red flag. You have so many things to talk about, so much in common. Ever wondered why that is? What if the person is literally your half-sibling? Now that's what a bad date sounds like. Because sometimes the real red flags are the ones that show you the mirror.
Speaking of sperm, our next story has something to do with it too. This time it's not about human sperm though, it's about fish semen and how it's being used in a dish. And a Michelin star chef is advocating for it. Here's the report.
Cooking is an art, and rightly so. Like most art forms, it too demands creativity. But sometimes chefs flex their creative muscles so hard, their food quickly goes from, oh, that's interesting, to, whoa, that's downright bizarre. This story is all about that last bit.
El huevo frito de codorniz con trufa blanca. O sea, ya solamente el olor es pecaminoso.
We're talking about Darby's Munoz. He's a Michelin star chef. Recently, he made a trip to Japan, and now he wants to add fish semen to his restaurant menu. You heard that right. Actual semen of the fish. He was inspired by a dish, one that's perhaps one of Japan's weirdest, and that's saying something. It's called shirako. It includes what looks like white paste, like in this picture. Kind of looks like thick mayonnaise, right? But that's actually fish semen. It comes from pufferfish, monkfish and cod, and it's usually served on top of rice. Now that's literally what the kids call food porn. At this point, we know what you must be wondering. How does this dish even taste? Honestly, we haven't tasted it yet, nor do we think we want to. After all, it takes some amount of open-mindedness too. But we're told it has a rich, velvety texture with a mild, sea-like taste apparently. Guess it's one of those things we didn't know we even wanted to know about. Who goes around asking, hey, what does fish semen taste like? But in case someone ever does, now you know the answer. It's salty apparently, and now you must live with this knowledge. Sorry, not sorry. We get that even the thought of this dish is odd. When Darby's posted about it, a lot of the viewers were grossed out. But that's only half of the picture, because shirako is not a lonely concept. People enjoy fish semen all over the world. In the US, fish sperm is referred to as fish milt. Tuna milt is commonly put on pasta in Sicily. For Romanians, it's fried milt from freshwater fish. Octopus and mollusk milt is also a thing. In other words, disgusting or fascinating, one creature's reproductive fluid can be another's lunch. But even if it looks appetizing, must we eat it?
Our next story also comes from Japan. This time, it's about a piano that was taken off the streets. Why? Because apparently, people were having too much fun. What are we talking about? Here's the report.
A piano in Japan has gotten into trouble, pardon the pun, so it is being removed. What was its crime? The piano is guilty of being the source of a little too much fun. We are talking about a street piano. It was placed inside of a railway station in Japan's Kakogawa. And this piano was supposed to be a part of a rising global trend, inspired by a public art movement. You know, pianos in public places, a source of enjoyment for many, and the reason behind many viral music TikToks and Reels. So this piano was placed 6 months ago. It was meant to entertain passing commuters, but here is the catch. And it's not surprising because this is just Japan being Japan. It placed strict rules on the piano. It wanted performances kept under 10 minutes, and it demanded no sing-alongs with the piano tunes, and urged people to disinfect their hands before touching the keys. But as we know, music knows no bounds, and especially when it comes to the ivory, music sits inside of its own ivory tower of artistry. So obviously, people didn't follow the rules. In fact, they went a little berserk. There were duets and medleys. Performances lasted for hours. Budding artists practiced their piano skills, especially children. They played the same tunes over and over again, and playing by the ear at the railway station became a little too much for the ears of passers-by. While many enjoyed the piano, others complained. So the local council has put its foot down. They're confiscating the street piano, pulling the plug. While this move is being welcomed by some, most are mourning and revolting. But worry not, officials are trying to reach middle ground, and the piano may not be silent for long. It may be moved to a different public location, one that is surely not a railway station. And the music fervor can resume, where it won't be reined in. Because one thing is certain, this piano trend is striking a chord with Japan, but on its own terms.
That's it for this week's episode of Beyond Bizarre. We'll be back again next week with stories that are anything but basic.